Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Here it is. Here it is. I told you it was happening. It's happening right now. Now we've got the receipts to back it up. I told you. Well, what's happening? Sometimes I really wish I was wrong. It would be far better for the country. I said to you, once you were softened up with body blows on coronavirus, to put your mask on, get softened up to business closings, unconstitutional takings of landlords' property, vaccine mandates, mask mandates, keeping your kids out of school, closing your business, shutting you down. Once you got accustomed to that and the government overreach, the government, which never gives power back, they only take more and move the red line, was going to use the excuse of public health to take more. Here it is. Here it is happening right now. Got that and a whole lot more. Today's show brought to you by ExpressVPN. I protect my data and my online activity with a VPN. You should too. Go to expressvpn.com/Bongino today. Welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. Let's get right to it. Of course, I've got an update on the just ongoing humanitarian disaster in Afghanistan brought about. This is a Biden-caused disaster. Everywhere Biden goes, he causes a disaster because he is a corrupt, senile fool. He is a stupid man being made dumber by his cognitive decline, who is costing Americans their lives and costing this country its credibility every day, and should resign from office immediately. Immediately. All right. Yeah, I got a lot of video today as well. I'm going to start off strong with this Yuri Bezmenov clip coming up in a second, too. Don't go anywhere. Hey, you know it's so hot when you contemplate putting your drawers in the freezer? That must be really hot. In the freezer? You got to be really hot for that. Tommy John created underwear that does just that. No freezer required, however, introducing Apollo. Apollo men's underwear is proven to keep you drier and up to 7 degrees cooler than regular cotton underwear. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. I've been a fan for a long time of Tommy John. I wore them way before they were a sponsor of the show. They sent me a few pairs of Apollo. It's really good. Apollo underwear is soft, supportive, and stretches for the perfect fit every day. And it's available up to size 4XL. With over 15 million pairs sold, men across America love Tommy John underwear because there's no more flopping, sticking, or chafing. We hate all that stuff. The only downside to Tommy John, you wash them, you're going to keep putting them at the top of the underwear drawer. You're not going to wear anything else again. Never. Everything else is not even second best, like 10th best. And like all Tommy John underwear, Apollo comes with the best pair you ever wear. It's free, guarantee. Tommy John's new Apollo men's underwear is high end for your rear end, and you can get them. You can't get them anywhere else. Right now, get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/Dan. Go to TommyJohn.com/Dan for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Dan. You're gonna love them. Check them out. Tommy John. TommyJohn.com/Dan. See site for details. All right, Joe, let's go. All right, good to hear you. Good to hear you back in a
yes, sir.
Place, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's the audience, I'm sure, feels the same way. So here it is. It is happening. I've warned you. I said it. I said, listen, the left does not want the coronavirus COVID crisis to go away. Why? Leftists are totalitarians. They love power. And of course, useful idiots in the media and elsewhere will leverage. They realize with the coronavirus, they could take your property. They could take landlord's property. They could force you to put a face diaper on your face. They could force you to take a medication or a therapeutic or a vaccine you want or don't want. And they love this. That's what totalitarians love. They love power. Power comes at your expense. Power zero sum. More government power, less individual power. More individual power, less government power. They hate individuals. They love collective government power. Now, we were warned about this by Yuri Bezmenov. I use these clips often. He was a defector from the Soviet Union with KGB experience who talked about how totalitarian regimes break down the public and use useful idiots to gain power. Give us your property, take the medication, shut your mouth, don't say anything, put a mask on. And in this clip, Yuri Bezmenov talks about how the useful idiots, the media, and dopey liberals who don't know any better and see the totalitarianism staring us right in the face, how they become the first victims of the totalitarian regime when they really get what they want, which is real totalitarianism. coming here. I want you to listen to every single word of this. This is directed at all you liberal, useful idiots out there and media people who think you'll be saved from the powerful government you want when government takes that power and jams it up your caboose. Check this out.
These people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents.
Yes.
Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality.
There it is right there, folks. The people clamoring for totalitarianism and totalitarian control will fall victim to it, and they are too stupid and ignorant to see it. The same people demanding you put a mask on your face, arresting people for protesting, the same people celebrating Antifa burning down your cities, the same people demanding you take a vaccination whether you want it or not. These are the same people too dumb to see. They're ushering in an era of totalitarianism under the guise of what? Never let a crisis go to waste. Public health. Public health, air quotes, is going to be the excuse. We said it on the show repeatedly. It is going to be the excuse in the future now to do whatever they want to do. Why? Because nobody's against public health, right? Not against public health. Can't be against public health. That's not even possible. Who could be against public health? No one wants to be against public. Who wants to be the other side of that? And they realized how successful it was with coronavirus. So it's happening right now. Wall Street Journal. Oh my gosh. Just once. Be wrong on this just one time, please. Climate change to be treated as a public health issue. New federal office is likely to face pushback over actions that target the health industry. Check out this screenshot from the piece. Again, never, ever let a crisis go to waste. Public health got property rights thrown out, got your business closed down, put a mask on your face, threw out all your individual rights to your own body and your medical sovereignty. All that got thrown out. So now they're like, wow, this was great. Let's do climate change too. The Department of Health and Human Services has launched an office that will treat climate change as a public health issue designed to address what the White House says are health risks, including those that disproportionately affect poor and minority communities. Here it is. 2 in 1. You get a 2 for here. Did you catch it? Not only do you get the public health excuse to implement things they couldn't do that would not abide by our constitutional process, taking of your property, taking of energy industry property, the just extra constitutional demands and regulations your business is going to have to comply with. It's all in the name of public health. They also throw identity politics in there too. It's all being done because climate change is public health issue and it's disproportionately affecting minority communities. There it is. As Bezmenov warned, the useful idiots always usher in this stuff. I had said to the leftists early on, if you don't fight this stuff now, the shutting down of businesses because of coronavirus, the mask mandates, the vaccine mandates. If you don't fight this now, leftists, and link shields with us, you are going to become victims of this too, as this public health excuse is used to do anything and everything they want. And useful idiots were too dumb to heed the warning because they're stupid people. What do I always tell you? Yep, that's right. That's right. That's their anthem right there. That is the anthem for them right there. And who are the most dangerous collective group of people on planet Earth? Stupid, smart people. What we would call useful idiots. However, it doesn't just stop there. You know, they tested the public health waters with coronavirus. Public health. What can we get away with claiming public health? They tested the waters. Now they're diving right in. Climate change, war. Oh, here's another one. Breitbart. CDC to spend millions of taxpayer dollars on the gun health threat. Here we go. Public health again. This article will be in my newsletter today. Read it along with the Wall Street Journal article. Bongino.com/newsletter. Just click sign up. It's free. President Biden's CDC is gearing up to spend millions of taxpayer dollars fighting the serious public health threat posed by gun violence. Pay very close attention to this second paragraph. It's just a couple sentences. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky referenced gun crime in various cities and says something has to be done about this. Now is the time. It's pedal to the metal time, CNN reported. They want to spend the money on, quote, research and, quote, tracking. And what's interesting is they want to spend the money on using research and tracking for prevention. What are those preventative measures going to be? I'm sure they will involve fidelity to the Second Amendment, folks. I mean, it's not like Joe Biden, who when asked if we were going to take your gun said, yeah, that's right. It's not like Joe Biden would want to violate the tenets of the Second Amendment, right? Folks, again, I'm not kidding. I wish I was wrong. But the left is predictable. Why? Because the left always wants the same outcome. The left wants power and power at all costs. They are totalitarians by nature. They crave power. They love power. And they know they can rely on a class of stupid, smart people. The media is generally stupid people, but stupid, smart people like academics, some in the media and others, to usher in an era of diminished civil liberties. They know they can always count on them, and it happens every time. I told you they were going to test the public health trial balloon during coronavirus to see how much they could get away with, how much they could take away your economic liberty, your kids' education liberty, your sovereignty over your own body, masking and forced vaccination. And sure enough, it's all happening right now. All of it under the guise of public health. You'll see this for more, too. You will see this coming. It's not a conspiracy theory when it's not a theory. It is a conspiracy, however, it's not a theory. This is their own words. It's their own words. I'm sure the Poynter Institute fact checkers will say, well, and they were referencing prevention under gun control. What they really meant, because the Poynter Institute has this magical ability to read Joe Biden's mind in contrast to Joe Biden's words. The fake fact checkers, Reuters and others, they're all a joke. By the way, these rules they want to impose upon you, none of them actually apply to them. Did you notice that? These rules where individual sovereignty over your own body, mandates, face mask mandates, you notice none of that applies to them? I mean, that is one of the key tenets of a totalitarian regime, is that socialism is always good for the socialists in charge, never good for the socialists on the ground, who, as Bezmenov said, become casualties and become dissidents themselves later as they realize the utopia they asked for kicked them all in the cojones and became dystopia. Here, look at this tweet. Tristan Justice has a piece up in the Federalist. Here's a photo from the Washington Free Beacon showing Elizabeth Warren, fake Indian Elizabeth Warren. I'm sure the fact checkers will check that too. She was 0.000162 Indian. That's how little respect anybody has for fact checkers. Photo shows Elizabeth Warren and Deb Hyland partying maskless over the weekend in defiance of the state mask mandate. I mean, again, pointing out the hypocrisy. I just want to be clear where I stand because I actually have principles, unlike these total losers, fakes and phonies, fake Indian Elizabeth Warren, joke, clown, total clown. Here are my principles. I don't care that Elizabeth Warren wasn't wearing a mask. I don't believe masks do what the CDC has told us they do. I don't believe that at all. I have no problem with you taking personal custody over your own health situation and taking risks you wish to take, along with people at the party. Good for you. The problem I have is with the hypocrisy of these epic frauds like Elizabeth Warren every single time. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. Do you have a mask? I don't want to wear a mask. It's only for you idiots. As Tucker Carlson said a couple of weeks ago, and he's right. Now, it wasn't him. It was the guest he had on. The guest was trying to make a point. Forgive me, I'm forgetting who it was. Oh, it was Matt Walsh. It was Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire, and it was a good point. Walsh made the point that this is not a double standard. It's just a standard. The standard the left has is we're in charge, shut your mouth. It's not a double standard. Like double standard. A double standard would obviously be a standard for one, another standard for another. In other words, masks for you, but not masks for us. But Matt Walsh made a good point. That's not the standard at all. The standard for the left is we're in charge. I'm Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, and just shut your mouth. You're our dopey minions, the smellies, and just shut up. Matt's not wrong. There isn't a double standard. There's one standard, that we should all shut our mouths and listen to these losers. That is, in fact, the standard. That was brilliantly stated. All right, I want to move on to Afghanistan. But please, folks, accept and heed my warning there. I'm not trying to be, claim prescience all the time. I'm not trying to do that. Just the left is very predictable. It doesn't take a genius to figure them out. They are greedy, power-hungry losers. And that power comes at your expense. They will always test the waters. They will see whatever excuse, whatever medium they can use to take away your own sovereignty over your economic affairs, your kids, your education, and your money. Whatever they can do. When you see them doing it and you see it succeeding like it did in the coronavirus, when very few people outside of conservative states fought back, believe me, that antenna went up and they were like, my gosh, all we have to do is say public health and we can get away with all this stuff. You watch the stories we're going to be breaking from this point on, all using public health to take away your civil liberties. You've been warned. All right, Guy, let me get to my second sponsor. I know it's a little early, but I want to run through this because it's really, really important. Psaki is a disgraced liar. Peppermint Patty is a disaster, a disgraceful liar, and so is Joe Biden. I want to play a cut and then show you what they did. We don't leave our people behind. We don't leave our people behind. However, Joe Biden and Peppermint Patty do, and they lie about it. And some of the people in our military at the upper levels of management are disgraceful too. Yep, you're darn right. And they should resign immediately. I'll play the video coming up in a second. By the way, they've even lost people at NBC and MSNBC who are like, this is a disaster. Some like Rachel Maddow, of course, just got her huge payday. I thought she was like a socialist, isn't she? She's like some kind of semi-socialist, right? She's got a $30 million payday, apparently, according to some reporting I've seen from MSNBC per year. That's incredible. Like I said, socialism. Always good for the socialists in charge. Always. Hey, folks, only one more week left for Genucel's summer blowout sale with all packages 50% off. Online orders only at Genucel.com, Genucel.com. That's 50% off. Classics including Genucel for eye bags and puffiness, Genucel's eyelid lift, and legendary anti-aging moisturizer, Genucel XV, a personal favorite of the legendary Paulita. Joe, wouldn't you agree she's legendary? Legendary. The stuff of legends. Your order today includes Genucel's customer favorite vitamin C deep firming serum, free at checkout. See skin smooth as silk and free from redness and sunspots right before your eyes. Here's another not 4-star review, 5-star review from Sally in Stony Brook, New York. Went to college there for a year. Had a good time. I've tried many products, and Genucel XV is incredible. Even my dermatologist asked me what products I use on my face, and I replied proudly, Genucel. Like I said, the legendary Paulita, she loves the Genucel product. So does my mother-in-law, Miriam. It's perfect for all skin types, even sensitive skin. See results in as little as 12 hours, guaranteed, or your money back. Go to Genucel.com and enter Dan40, that's Dan40 at checkout for an extra $40 off and free shipping. That's Genucel.com, Genucel.com.
Legendary, okay. Yes.
You're too
there
funny.
You go, bro.
You're back in full force now. Now he's like, I don't know what it is. We've been on this emotional roller coaster for the last week. He's hitting a crescendo now. He came out of the bottom. It was like a spring at the bottom of that valley. To the moon, Alice, for you moonlighting fans. Remember? You love that show. All right. So Peppermint's a liar, disgraceful liar. Listen, I'm not going to spin your wheels here. Every single press secretary, everyone, even the ones that have been part of presidential administrations we support, they always go up to the podium and are going to spin the story for their boss. That's their job. They're the press secretary. They're not up there on their own behalf. Psaki, Jay Carney, Kayleigh, Sean, Sarah Sanders, none of them. Ari Fleischer, they're up there on behalf of the president. That's their job. Their job is to pitch for the White House. So I get it. There's always going to be some loose facts thrown out there, if you know what I mean, and spin. That's what they do. That's their job. However, one thing that's unforgivable is not only spinning and lying, but spinning and lying and then attacking reporters when it comes to leaving our people behind and getting people killed. I can't say this enough. We don't leave our people behind. Joe Biden and Barack Obama do. Biden and Obama, that's their thing. They leave people behind, don't even care. Benghazi, they just don't care. They sense political damage from their bad decisions. They say, well, if we leave the people behind and they get whacked, then maybe no one will hear about it later on. Yeah, leave them behind. That's just what they do because they're cowards and chumps. Psaki should have resigned rather than having to pitch and propagandize the public that, no, we didn't strand Americans. Remember this from a week ago? Psaki not only denies that we're stranding Americans behind in Afghanistan, but she actually attacks Peter Doocy, the reporter, for suggesting it. Check this out.
I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home. And I think that's important for the American public to hear and understand.
What a disgraceful liar. What a disgrace in the real dictionary definition of the word. Disgraced, resign in disgrace now, and try to maintain some semblance of personal dignity. Washington Examiner, Mike Brest, August 30th, 2021. Hundreds of U.S. citizens left behind as troops leave Afghanistan. Again, I get it. I'm a realist. I live in the real world. I don't live in some fantasy utopia like leftists do. Every press secretary goes up there and spins on behalf of their president. Sometimes they lie. Republican administrations and Democrat. Anyone telling you otherwise is living in a world that doesn't exist, and I'm not going to do that to you. You rode better for me. But lying about stranding our American citizens overseas, many of whom will likely be taken hostage, killed, or maybe worse. Lying about that at the podium and then attacking the reporter is a level of depravity, candidly, I've never seen before. They've even lost MSNBC, which is bizarre. Not the whole network, of course. You'll always have buffoons like Rachel Maddow and other words. Socialists making $30 million a year. Can I get a loan, Rachel? I mean, I'm not making $30 million a year. Can I throw a few bucks our way? You think spread the wealth around, from each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs. I mean, I think my abilities are greater than yours. I actually called the Spygate thing what it was and the pee-pee hoax out. You were on the other side of that. So how about you throw a little bit my way? Fair deal, right? Joe, what do you think? Fair deal? Each according to abilities, to each. I could use that. Yeah. I'll spread that out. I'll make a nice donation to the church. Throw some money my way. You've shown you have no ability at all. So just to be clear, but some people at MSNBC have had enough of Joe Biden, Peppermint Patty, and their lies because they're disgusting filth, these people who do this and lie to you about leaving Americans behind. Here's Richard Engel at MSNBC talking about the disgraceful surrender in Afghanistan and how we walked away. Joe Biden, he walked away. He, not we. He walked away with a capital H. He walked away and damaged United States credibility. It's going to take decades to repair this. Check this out.
The worst capitulation of Western values in our lifetimes. You left behind. I went to Afghanistan. I arrived a couple of weeks ago. It was a republic backed by the United States, backed by the West. Now it is an emerging Islamic emirate trying to find its way.
What did they say during the Vietnam War to LBJ, right? If you lose Cronkite. Well, when you lose people at MSNBC, you can rest assured that the damage to both your credibility and the credibility of the United States was significant. Folks, I said a while ago, the United States, the citizenry, the voting public, foreign affairs are kind of a tricky matter. There are some that we'll gloss over. And one of the reasons some things are, realpolitik. I mean, sometimes compromises have to be made with countries that are enemies of the United States because the lack of a compromise creates an opportunity cost. I get that. But this was clear cut. We don't leave our people behind. We negotiated with terrorists and we turn a country over to child raping, women abusing Taliban terrorists. There's just no other side to this here. There was a way to get out and a way not to. But foreign affairs, when it's black and white like this, black and white, no serious person outside of Jen Psaki, who claims to be serious, disputes that the exit from Afghanistan was a total disaster. Like I said, even Richard Engel notices. When you see this can damage a presidency permanently. I think back to these crises. LBJ, who didn't run. You look back at George W. Bush in Iraq, whether you agreed with the Iraq war or not. When you look back at Jimmy Carter and the hostage crisis. These were seminal, damaging events these presidencies never recovered from. I can't imagine Joe Biden, unless something magical happens to him in the next 3+ years. I don't know how he recovers from this. You will have Americans stuck in Afghanistan sending home to their contacts in the United States, horrible messages from this point on. Military leaders who accommodated this too should resign immediately. Resign immediately. Listen, with all due respect to your prior service, a lot of people served the United States. You made bad. They are responsible for their decisions now, either in the business world as parents or whatever they do. They don't get to say, well, I served once, so none of that stuff matters. We thank them for their service, but they're still responsible for their decisions right now and today. You apparently are not. It's people at the top of the military that made the decisions leading to one of the greatest defeats in the history of the U.S. military. Their call. They lost a war for the United States like this. And not only lose the war, they lost the exit. No one's resigned, which is just stunning. And not only did they not resign, they don't have the dignity to tell the American people the truth. Listen to this briefing yesterday at the Pentagon. I want you to pay very close attention to this knucklehead saying, oh my gosh, if we just stayed 10 more days, we still wouldn't have gotten those people out. And I'm going to prove to you he is not telling the truth. Check this out.
Look, there's a lot of heartbreak associated with this departure. We did not get everybody out that we wanted to get out. But I think if we'd stayed another 10 days, Louis, we wouldn't have gotten everybody out that we wanted to get out. And there still would have been people who would have been disappointed with that. It's a tough situation. But I want to emphasize again that simply because we have left, that doesn't mean the opportunities for both Americans that are in Afghanistan that want to leave and Afghans who want to leave, they will not be denied that opportunity. I think our Department of State is going to work that very hard in the days and weeks ahead.
We wouldn't have, even if we would have stayed 10 more days. Was that Kenneth McKenzie, right? Who was talking there? Even if we would have stayed 10 more days. How about if you would have stayed 10 more minutes? Right, Joe? 10 more minutes. Why do you say that, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this tweet. If you want Guy said it right this morning, by the way. Laura Logan, her social media account on Twitter is a must follow. It's depressing. It's not going to make you feel good. But folks, this isn't the time to seek feel good news. I know you know that. Sometimes a crisis is there and we got to take it all in. We got to get our arms around it. We got to deal with it. And I appreciate that all of you, despite the just legions of bad news stories coming out, that you've sought this show out based on our numbers and our downloads and our watches as a source of truth is a deep honor to me. And I'm not going to run away for these stories for feel-good nonsense. There's not much to feel good right now. The only thing that's going to feel good is getting rid of the people that did this. Having said that, Laura Logan's Twitter account won't make you feel good, but there is a lot of stuff on there you need to see. Here's one of them. If we would have stayed 10 more days, we still wouldn't have gotten people out. Really? Because Laura Logan has a picture taken on the ground of the actual gate at Karzai Airport right there. She has a big circle in case you missed it. And she says, this at the gates of the airport, waiting for them to open as promised. U.S. citizens there. Yet the U.S. military leaders say no one made it there. Was that part of the Taliban deal? We'll funnel them to you with false promises. You make it impossible to pass, so no more images of desperate Afghans flooding the runway. There are people right there waiting to get in. She's got them circled in case you missed it. Taking you 10 days to do that, to open the gate? Folks, these stories are everywhere. I'm getting texts from friends all the time. Americans who cannot get out, who were abandoned by Joe Biden. Failure. Disgusting failure. Here's another one from Lara Logan. There was a child and a family injured by a smoke grenade after 8 to 9 hours of moving from gate to gate under the eyes of the Taliban. All the U.S. had to do was open the gate. Promise after promise was broken. Look at this picture. If you're not watching the show on Rumble, please check it out. Even if you listen, skip ahead, do whatever you want. I just want you to see these photos. Rumble.com/Bongino. This is a picture of the tweet. Take a good look because Afghans and the rest of the world are and won't forget. There's more of those on her social media account. Here's another video taken from her social media account. This is a video of, you're going to hear an audio. This is actually, it's weird. This is a video, but the audio is actually more profound. You're going to hear something in the background. This is video of someone in Afghanistan with the phone recording the sound of gunshots as the Taliban go door to door and the exterminations begin. Listen to this. As I said, a Joe Biden caused disaster. This is hard to watch. This is also hard to watch. Obviously, human beings come first, but I don't know about you folks, if I may for a minute, a point of personal privilege, but there are various ways to judge the quality and character of a man. You know, we're all sinners at heart, right? We can all be saved, but we're all sinners. We're all subject to temptation. We all have various weaknesses we have to overcome. But I judge a guy by how he treats animals. Don't laugh. I'm serious. I'm not being funny. I do. I see a guy who, kicks a dog or something like that or treats animals terribly. I am 99.999% sure that guy is a loser. I do. I see a guy who treats animals well. I'm pretty confident he's a decent guy. Not 99% confident, but pretty confident he's a decent guy. Having said that, look at this photo taken at the airfield. Apparently, the Biden administration, again, this has not been verified, and I'm interested in facts, but this picture's been making the rounds. I've seen it from enough credible sources that I'm willing to report on it. Apparently, we left some of our service animals at the airport, locked in the cages right there. Please, I'm hoping, you can see the photos right there in the Rumble. I know they're hard to watch. Please. This should be the one time where these loser fact checkers, these propagandists, this is one time you could come in handy. I am asking you as a favor, if you can debunk this and tell me that that's false, I would sincerely appreciate it because I don't need to be politically right here. I can't see animals suffer like that. And I know many of you can't either. I'm dead serious. Please tell me that story is not true. I'm asking for a personal favor here. Don't do your usual nonsense fake fact checking. I mean a real fact check. I know you're not used to that. Devastating story. All right, let's take a breather here. Take a quick break. When we come back, I've got videos that are emerging now. There's a reporter on the ground in Afghanistan who's got access, I guess, to the Taliban, who's putting out videos on his feed of all the equipment we left behind and the Taliban coming out to check it out. Now, the military saying, we, demilitarized it. In other words, destroyed the critical components. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. I'm going to fact check that myself because that's not what I'm hearing about some of the equipment. All right. Today's show also brought to you by Teeter. I use my Teeter inversion table twice a day, and now Teeter has brought to you a zero impact exercise with one simple, terrific machine I've also become a fan of. It's called the Free Step Recumbent Cross Trainer. Fitness has always played a huge role in my life. It helped me get through the whole cancer thing. I'm convinced that my body was ready for this fight because of fitness. It keeps me energized, sharp, and ready to take on the day. My wife and I both use the Free Step 2-3 times a week because it's easy to use and it doesn't beat up my joints. It's zero impact. The Teeter Free Step is totally unique to anything else out there. It's really low impact. With technology licensed from commercial physical therapy equipment, you'll experience a smooth, linear stride. It protects your joints, hips, back, knees better than any other machine out there. You can dial the resistance down to warm up, which I do sometimes on Wednesdays, Thursdays. But then on Fridays, Saturdays, I let it go. You can crank it up and get an amazing calorie-burning workout, and your heart will be beating out of your chest if you choose. Not just warm up on it. The Free Step is proven to burn 17% more calories than a recumbent bike. When you exercise on the Free Step, your joints will feel great. Your muscles will feel challenged, and you'll want to work out on it every day. It really is a pleasure. You don't want to get off a machine and hate it, folks. You're just not going to do it then. Not with the Free Step. Plus, you'll get access to trainer-led workout videos on the free Teeter Move app. With over 3 million people putting their trust in Teeter, they've been in the health and fitness industry for 40 years. What are you waiting for? Give it a shot. Teeter has an exclusive offer for you. Get the Teeter Free Step Recumbent Cross Trainer for $100 off when you go to teeter.com/Dan. The Teeter Free Step has over 1,000 reviews on Amazon with an incredible 4.6 star rating. With this exclusive deal, you get $100 off when you go to teeter.com/Dan, Teeter. You'll also get free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so there's no reason not to try it. Remember, you can only get the Teeter Free Step Recumbent Cross Trainer and save $100 by going to teeter.com/Dan. That's teeter.com/Dan. Check it out. Machine's pretty awesome. Okay, so these videos have been emerging. Joe had to cut a lot of video today for the show. He's working hard this morning. But videos have been coming out of Afghanistan. I know, sorry, but these are really important that the public see these. You can hear also, if you're listening on audio, there's this reporter. He speaks English here. You'll hear in a minute. And you see him walking through the hangar with the Taliban. One thing about this video should disturb you is a lot of people, when they saw this video initially, they thought, oh, well, that's a video of Americans going to get their equipment. No. They're in American uniforms, carrying American weapons, wearing American helmets and American night vision goggles. But they are the Taliban. They are not our people. The Taliban took our equipment, our uniforms, everything. I'll bring up a point on that from our friend 279 in a minute, too. But here's the first video. It's quick. Them checking out the booty they took from their victory over Joe Biden. Check this out.
Here's one of the A-29s. There's an MD-530 over here. It seems we're basically approaching a big Taliban parade at the moment, and we're talking about a lot of stuff here, a lot of hardware. Wow. Well, here's the latest addition to the Taliban Air Force.
Yeah, there is the latest addition to the Taliban Air Force. Now, again, give you both sides of the story. The Defense Department is saying they disabled a lot of this equipment. They may have. I'm wondering how hard it would be to undisable the equipment. I mean, if anything, they gave them a bunch of spare parts for the planes they do have. Either way, we left behind equipment we should not have left behind. I think that's obvious. Is that really hard to figure out at this point? Here's another video. This is the one in the hangar. I got them a little backwards. Sorry, I actually sent them to Guy in the other order. But this is the, you're going to see them again going through the hangar. These are not our people. These are the Taliban checking out what appear to be Chinooks transport helicopters. And again, their new haul. At a minimum, they have some spare parts for the fleet we left behind elsewhere in Afghanistan. Check this out.
Oh. All right. We're here right now with the Taliban as they enter into what was only minutes ago was an American-controlled portion of the military airport. Now they're taking over.
How does that make you feel? Two-pager today. How's that make you feel? I know my wife is furious about it. That's our equipment right there. Again, you could say all you want, we disabled it. That may in fact be true. I trust very little coming out of our Defense Department these days. But at a minimum, you left them spare equipment and parts for the equipment you didn't disable, which we covered yesterday on the show. And as 279, one of the best sources I've ever had for information, helped us out during the Spygate case. 279 is in the military too, and said, one of the things we were taught during, I'm not going to say who he is or what job, but in the military was to memorize the enemy's uniforms and equipment. That way we never had a friendly fire incident. So we knew what the enemy's equipment looked like. We obviously knew what our equipment looked like because it was ours. He brought up a great point. You see where I'm going with this, Joe? Or where the 279er was? How are we going to be able to discriminate? God forbid we have to go back in there, or anybody does. How are we going to be able to discriminate between our equipment and our equipment?
Well camouflaged.
Well camouflaged. Joe, that is a great point. It's the best camouflage of all. It looks exactly like the thing because it's the thing. Great point, Joe. Best camouflage the enemy could ever have. Yeah, of course they can. He's like, you think they could sell the disabled equipment for parts? Of course they can. How are we going to be able to discriminate if we have to go back between our guys and their guys when their guys look like our guys? This guy's a freaking disaster in the White House. Disaster. On the accountability front, we've had none of it. Again, nobody wants to resign. Nobody wants to take any kind of responsibility for the debacle in Afghanistan they've caused. Nobody. Folks, I'm not kidding when I tell you this really, maybe outside of a higher body count, which thank God didn't happen, this could not have gone any worse tactically. It couldn't. American credibility destroyed. Tens of billions of equipment left behind. I saw the fact checkers. It wasn't 83 billion, it was 20 billion. Oh, sorry, it was only 20 billion in equipment. That's your fact check? I mean, these guys are just morons. That's why I have no respect for these people at all. This could not have gone any worse. The Afghan president making off with money our taxpayers, put into Afghanistan. Just an embarrassment. A lot of these generals and admirals are now getting tired of this crap too. I think they understand the damage done to the credibility of military brass is going to be generational. So this letter was released by Flag Officers for America. A growing number of retired flag officers call for top military resignations. Nearly 90 retired generals and admirals signed a letter calling for the resignation of the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, a disaster. That's his name. Someone may want to tell Joe Biden that. And the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, based on their key roles in the disaster in Afghanistan. I'm actually stunned it's just 90 generals and admirals and not every single one. That's flagofficersforamerica.com, number 4. I'm not surprised. I'm only surprised it's not a higher number. Now, this is a little devastating. Again, I'm sorry that the show, I don't have a lot of good news for you today. I don't. But this is stuff we need to discuss. These new Gold Star parents, not a role, believe me, anybody wants. I think we can all comfortably say that. These new Gold Star parents are now starting to speak out because there's not going to be accountability. They're going to demand it. One of them was on Sean Hannity's show last night. He was addressing Joe Biden, who kept looking at his watch at the dignified transfer event at Dover Airport where the bodies of the 13 heroes arrived. Looking at his watch. Got somewhere to be, Joe? Got somewhere to be? The father didn't like that at all. Here he was on Sean Hannity's show last night.
Mark, you want to comment on the watch incident? Did you notice the same thing?
Yes, I did. I actually leaned into my son's mother's ear and I said, I swear to God, if he checks his watch one more time, and that was only probably 4 times in, I couldn't look at him anymore after that. Just considering especially the time and why we were there, it was I found to be the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, me too. Me too. This gets harder to watch every time. Here's John Kirby, another spokesman who, like Peppermint Patty, can't seem to tell the truth and refuses to preserve his own dignity by resigning and showing some character and strength under fire. He refuses to do it. Here's John Kirby absolutely refusing to take responsibility for this. And notice his reference to the prior administration here. He doesn't bring up Trump's name directly, but he tries to blame the withdrawal and the leaving behind of people on Trump. Oh, we've been working on this since the spring of last year. Listen to this, John Kirby, again, ducking any responsibility. Check this out.
If 5,800 Americans were left in Afghanistan when you pulled out of Bagram at the end of July, why did the U.S. military not begin evacuations of Americans before pulling out of the country?
Jen, we've talked about this quite some time ago. I'm happy to revisit it. We were already baked into the retrograde plan way back in the spring was the possibility for non-combatant evacuations and helping people get out. And we were in constant conversations with the Ghani government as well as our colleagues across the interagency about what that would look like and when would be the right time to do that. And in anticipation of it, well before the provincial capitals started toppling there towards the middle of August, Secretary Austin pre-positioned forces closer into the region to the degree of taking an entire Marine battalion off of the USS Iwo Jima and moving them ashore to Kuwait so that they would be ready. So this was something that we had been planning for and preparing for. The timing of these things is always very delicate.
Again, Trump did it. Ghani did it. Maybe your faith in Ghani did it. Feckless zeros these people are. All right, let me get to my last sponsor. On the other side of this, the media cover-up is in full force now. Get ready again for the shift from this was a disastrous surrender to the Taliban where we left our people behind because that's what happened. That's a fact. To, the greatest airlift and evacuation ever. And Biden's now embracing soft power. Soft power. It's happening. Got that clip coming up next. Don't miss it. You're going to see more of this coming up. It always takes one guy to one useful idiot first to start this out. Today's show brought to you finally by our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition, the great company, one of my original sponsors. You hear a lot of talk about mass variants of vaccines, but nothing about your health, changing your lifestyle overall. Your health matters. The fact checkers go crazy. We suggest there's more to being healthy than wrapping a mask around your face. Common sense. Take care of your health year-round. Field of Greens is one of the ways I do it. Love this product. I like to say I had a role in creating it. I asked Miles to do it because I know the power of fruits and vegetables, healthy, wholesome fruits and vegetables. The problem is I don't eat enough. It's hard. You got to prepare them. You got to shop for them. And some of us just don't have the time. So I said to Miles, what if you just ground it up? Healthy, wholesome fruits and vegetables, and we put it in a really great tasting powder. And that's what they did. And the product's been selling off the shelves ever since. It's called Field of Greens. Here it is right here. Notice on the back it says nutrition facts. They all say that. No, they don't. Supplements say supplement facts. Why does that say nutrition facts? Because it's real food ground up into a fine tasting powder. Guy's favorite's lemon lime. Wild berry's good. I like the original too. But taking Field of Greens is super easy. You just put a scoop in a glass of water, you stir it, and you're done. It's packed with antioxidants. It's got 18 clinically researched essential fruits and vegetables. Again, super easy. You just put a scoop in a glass of water, protein shake, green tea, orange juice, whatever you want. Drink it up, and you are good. And it tastes great, too. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan and get 15% off your first order with the promo code Dan at checkout. Give it a try. Your body will thank you. brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Pick up Field of Greens today. It's right there. Tastes great. Awesome stuff. Use promo code Dan. brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Okay. The media cover-up again in full swing right now. Here is a guy with Yamich Alcindor. Is it Yamich? I'm not trying to say her name wrong intentionally, but, she is apparently a propagandist for the regime right now. But this person's on this show, this commentator, and he talks about Biden, how he's embracing soft power and diplomacy. Soft power? No, he's embracing no power. The whole idea behind soft power is it's reinforced by hard power. when you surrender our hard power, does soft power even matter? Listen to this and notice at the end, he says, oh, Biden's refocusing on China. He is, because the facts say otherwise. Check this out.
I think we are seeing a Biden doctrine come into focus on foreign policy, and that begins with an emphatic rejection of the post 9/11 foreign policy consensus that the United States can and should use military power, use force to invade other countries in pursuit of exporting American democracy there. This is a Joe Biden who once believed in that when he voted to authorize the Afghanistan war, when he voted to authorize the Iraq war, and he's come to the completely opposite conclusion that it cannot be done and it shouldn't be done. And I think that's why his resolve has been so steely to continue the withdrawal plan in the face of enormous criticism. That Biden doctrine also includes the idea of what foreign policy experts call soft power, using diplomatic tools, using things like economic tools and conditioning of foreign aid as a way to promote human rights and democracy in other parts of the world. And finally, this White House, this administration is much more focused on the rise of China than the issue of terrorism. They believe the rise of China presents much bigger and more long-term threats to the United States, and also focused on Russia, disinformation campaigns to meddle in democracy. That is where Biden wants to focus.
So Biden, just to be clear, guys and ladies out there, Biden's focused on diplomacy now. Diplomacy, we literally surrendered Afghanistan to a terrorist army of child-raping, women-abusing thugs. This is I'll spare us the diplomacy, please. Also, soft power, again, soft power without hard power is irrelevant. You never, ever, ever negotiate from a point of weakness. Ever. I got beat up once as a kid. True story. I got beat up bad. This guy, Steve, up the block. I thought I could take him, and I couldn't. And getting beat up when you're a kid is rough because those kids don't stop. The kids in my neighborhood were like sadistic. And I got beat up bad. My mom was like, what the hell happened to you? And, I swore to myself I would never negotiate from a point of weakness again in my life. That's how I got into boxing, and I eventually found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all this other stuff. Because I wanted to be sure that if I was walking away, I was walking away from something on my terms. Folks, sadly, that's the way violence works. The best part about learning to do violence is you never have to do violence sometimes. That's what soft power is. People can smell confidence. They can see it on you. That works with our military too. When you run away and you tell our military to run away, warfighters who are more than capable of destroying this army of medieval thugs, soft power is meaningless. Doesn't mean anything. And Biden's going to reposition himself to take on China. Give me a freaking break, man. Are you kidding me? Here, Breitbart, report. This is from just last week. Despite the computer chip shortage in the United States, Biden administration approves chip sales to Huawei, the Chinese company, where reports as Chinese Communist Party influence. Please stop the nonsense, folks. Again, the spin from the left, from you useful idiots, is astonishing. Do you have any dignity left? Peppermint, Kirby, all you never Trumpers out there. Can't you realize you're selling the company down a ditch? And as Bezmenov said, you're going to be the first ones to go when real totalitarianism takes over. Doesn't that bother you? Here's one of the legendary losers of the Never Trump movement, a guy I met at Politicon a few years ago, who I'm not kidding, is one of the stupidest smart people you have ever seen in your life. I mean, one of the dumbest smart people I have ever seen. I debated this clown, David Frum, on the stage about the whole pee-pee hoax, collusion hoax. The guy's up there with all his credentials and his bravado, faux bravado. I'm one of the smart people. He didn't even know basic facts of the case. Basic fact. It was humiliating. He had to have the moderator of the debate, who was another loser, he had to have the moderator rescue him to the point where the moderator started cursing at me because I was humiliating David Frum so badly. This guy is a clown. Here's what he tweets out. Again, one of the dumbest smart people you will ever meet. Starting the switch already. By the way, this guy claims to be some kind of a Republican. It's amazing to watch in real time the fabrication of an Americans left behind stab in the back myth. Yeah, he's like myth. I mean, again, people just with no dignity, No credibility, no morals, no ethics, just total clowns. David Frum has nothing to salvage. He has no professional reputation left. He figures at this point he might as well go all in on propaganda. Understand, he's the Bezmenov guy. The guy who will be the first one led down into the ditch and escorted his own shooters there. Just a useful moron. A bit of good news, because at the end of the day, Ron DeSantis never gives up a fight, is now fighting back against these dictatorial school boards who want to jam face diapers on kids' faces without any input from the parents. So you saw in Alachua and Broward counties, a lot of them decided, hey, it'd be a good idea to implement mask mandates against the governor's executive order. So the administration, the DeSantis administration, decided that they're going to withhold funds from a lot of these people down there doing it. Support them school board member salaries. Good. You get power and you can use it ethically and constitutionally, and you damn well better use it because the left is going to use it on us. All right, one last story because facts matter. And again, it's a bit of good news because it's a fact and facts do matter and facts, can dispute a leftist myth. And one of the leftist fairy tales that has bothered me for a long time is that we can tax our way out of the spending crisis we're in. We can't. The government is spending a lot of money. And the numbers they use are just not compliant with math. Math matters. Math matters. Arithmetic matters. Put that on a bumper sticker. I do math. Math matters. I've said to you forever. What have I told you that? You can tax the billionaires out of every single thing they own. You wouldn't even pay the government debt or the government accumulated government spending for 1 year. Forget about our national debt. If you took everything, here it is, Wall Street Journal. Excellent op-ed today. Even though it's subscription only, I put this in the show notes. Download this article. It's worth your time. Because again, I want you to ask your liberal friends, you want to tax the rich? Okay, you understand if we took every single dollar and their assets from the billionaires, that it wouldn't cover Bernie Sanders' spending plans for this year alone. This year alone. Here's the article. Bernie Sanders runs out of billionaires. Spending plans equal $4.5 trillion. Billionaire net worth, $4.4 trillion. Here, from the piece. Math matters, folks. Math matters. Just do it. Math. Math matters. Math matters. The trouble with Bernie's story is he's already run out of billionaires. There are 724 of them in the U.S., according to the 2021 Forbes billionaires list released in April. At that point, their collective net worth was $4.4 trillion, although the figure has presumably since risen along with the stock market. Say it's $5 trillion. Bernie Sanders' spending plan is $3.5 trillion, yet others have looked at it and said it's closer to $5.5 trillion. So Bernie Sanders' spending plan, not even counting the spending in the budget, this is extra stuff, will not even be covered this year, even if we confiscated every bit of wealth from every billionaire in the United States. Good luck, leftists. Math matters. Math matters. So does saving human lives. We don't leave our people behind. We don't leave our people behind, period, full stop. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Please subscribe to my Rumble account. Submit your questions for this week. Rumble.com/Bongino. It's free. It's the free speech alternative to YouTube. I am rumble.com/Bongino. Watch the videos. You can submit your questions under each video. We'll take some of them on Friday. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the radio show later.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show.